Hi, I'm Michael Williams, your island chef. Welcome to my kitchen, and let's get into our recipe for today. We're making braised beef bites. Really simple stewing beef recipe, and I tried to keep it as easy as possible without compromising the flavor. We're starting off with some onion, and guess what? Onion's a very useful ingredient. So I want to slice this onion, and I want to keep the slices relatively consistent. So what I'm going to do is break our onion down into sections, which are much more manageable to slice. See, I'm laying it out flat, and guess what? It's a lot easier to cut consistent pieces of onion when it's a nice, flat, easy thing to work with, as opposed to a big half moon and you end up with some big chunks and some little chunks. This is a good way to go. Give it a try if you've never tried slicing an onion like this. So let's get that into our mixing bowl. And you know, generally I like to brown onions, brown my stewing beef. In this case, as I said, we're trying to keep this as simple as possible, and the end result's really good. So we've got some raw onions here. Going to add our can, or a cup and a half, of whole peeled tomatoes. This is the no salt added variety. If you're going to get the salted variety, then you need to omit the salt from the recipe when we're working on it. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of molasses in there, a couple tablespoons. And same with the olive oil, about a tablespoon to 2. So those are our main ingredients that are going to make up the sauce of this recipe. So now we need some spice, some seasoning. A little bit of coriander, about a tablespoon, or a teaspoon I should say. We'll go to the half teaspoon measurement for some salt, just a little bit. And then how about a quarter teaspoon for our pepper. And let's go down by another half to our 1/8 teaspoon cayenne pepper. That's kind of cool how I did that, hey? 1/2, quarter, 1/8, coriander, salt, pepper, cayenne. Now, cayenne's very potent, even just 1/8 of a teaspoon, and this is going to end up pretty spicy still. So you could always cut that in half or omit it if you're not big on spice. Now I'm just going to break up those whole tomatoes. Okay, and then we're going to stir everything and make sure all those spices and molasses and oils all evenly distributed. All right, looking good. Everything's incorporated. It's all a nice even distribution. And we're ready for our stewing beef. Stewing beef, you say. So take a look at this for a sec. See all the connective tissue and the fat, the marbling that you can see in that meat? That's the secret to tender stewing beef. If it doesn't have that, it's not going to be tender. It's a bit of a compromise, not quite as good for you. The saturated fat content in beef is, you know, it's not the best thing for you. But if you want tender stewing beef, you got to have it. I'm just going to mix this right into the sauce, and we're going to fire this into a preheated 350 degree oven, and we're going to do it in a casserole dish. Okay? So I've got my casserole dish here, and I'm just going to pour this in. Spread everything out, and that is ready to go into the oven. Okay, so that's going to be in the oven for 1.5 to 2 hours, just as if you were cooking a stew. And take note, the moisture in that dish is going to be evaporating in the oven, and you're going to need to add in a little bit of water a couple of times, and also turn the stewing beef because it's only relatively half covered. And in the end, this is what we end up with. Absolutely beautiful, nice, super simple. The meat's caramelized even though we didn't brown it beforehand. I'm going to give it a taste. Oh, that's so good. That's awesome. Nice and tomato, onion, spices there. I like that. Take it out if you don't. Countrygrocer.com, you can find this recipe, braised beef bites.